You can follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Facebook, we are YBM Chat Podcast. Instagram at YBM Chat. You can listen to us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts at YBM Chat.
Hey, it's Dashia D.
It's Cassondra.
Hey, y'all, it's Tre'Dub.
Girl, LadiiNova.
And we are
YBM Chats.
young Black millennials offering you fresh intake you didn't know you needed.
Boy.
Mm-hmm.
What was that?
We'll do something extra.
Do this.
You did the
Bring
matrix
it
on
around
y'all.
town. Then you do this, then this, then that, this, that, this, and that, this, and that, and then.
Oh man.
Anyways.
5 minutes late.
You guys gotta get it together, y'all.
My mom asked me if I wanted coffee.
I have not had any coffee.
All natural here. But boy, so starting off with something sad. 2 people died today. Sean Connery, he was 90, which was the original James Bond, and Bishop Rance Allen. Everybody knows him from Gospel World from all his ad libs. He passed at 71. So blessings to that family, and hopefully everybody will be okay. So I really don't know how to take that Rance Allen one. I'm so used to singing his ad libs in the shower. So moving forward to actual boys. Beyonce has came out and said that she's going to be taking a hiatus from music because the pandemic has had so much that's weighed on her, and that the fact that she's been in the music industry since she was 15. But yes, she's been in the music industry since she was 15, and she said, like, since all this stuff happened with the pandemic, like, she hasn't really slowed down since she's had the twins. She's been doing Black is King and all these other tours, so she wants to relax and have a stressful life, which is understandable. So I'm not going to be that person people think I am towards Beyonce. I get it. She really has been, like, performance-wise on go and with music, so it is fair for her to relax. She's got 3 kids, husband, and she just wants to enjoy life, which is fair. And I think she finally started sending out the second packages for Ivy Park. Mm-hmm. So some people have started to get that. So I hope this goes better than Barry On.
Can I just ask a question? Okay, everybody knows I'm a huge Beyonce fan. I love her. Maybe this is coming out of straight being selfish here, but whatever. Do you think she really is taking a hiatus, or she feel like with COVID happening, people not really going to pay for her shows, so she's not going to sell out like she used to? Or do you feel like her fans don't care and they'd show up anyway?
I'll go ahead and let Dashia answer that because she was ready.
I don't feel like she needs the money.
Okay.
Like, I feel like she could take a break. She could retire if she wanted to. So I feel like I believe her. Like, she's human. She has a family. She wants to take time off. I mean, if you're constantly on the go, I can't imagine what that does to you physically, mentally, emotionally. So I believe her that she wants to take a break. I don't think that she has anything to prove as far as numbers and ticket sales. She's already proven that. So.
Well, I did forget a part. She also said something about leaving a legacy. So I guess that's why it's going to be, I guess her focus is going to be more Ivy Park now, because I mean, I don't feel like you can really leave too much of a legacy with music, because there's no guarantee that your kids are going to be musically inclined like you and the husband. Whereas they could do something with the clothing lines or something else that's in the forefront business wise.
But she has a music label that she's a part of. That's who Chloe and Halle are signed to. The sisters, the girl who got picked up to do The Mermaid.
Well, yeah, I understand that, but people are so limited, they'll just think that, oh, they're going to be music performers. because of their parents. So that like they would omit the business part itself.
I see what you mean. Have something to give to them.
Yeah, and again, I don't see like people would think I'd be all hate Beyonce, nobody cares, blah blah blah. No, I get it because it's the same way they did Rihanna. We want music. She's like, no, I have other things that I would like to tap into that would actually be more beneficial. I mean, yeah, people can sing songs, but at some point you're gonna have a generation that comes up like they are now that don't know the music. They're not gonna listen to it. Versus it was like, oh, she's the one who came out with the beauty skincare line for women of all shades. That's something else. She's the one that's actually giving plus size women something to wear besides them little frumpy stuff that they get from Lane Bryant. Like they can actually feel sexy in lingerie. Like it's a whole nother spectrum to it as being artists. And I guess it's time now to like be able to branch out and do that. Like Tiana Taylor, like people didn't like her music, but she's directing all these music videos. She's got her own style. Her little girl's got her own thing going on. So it's not just music with them there. And that's what people need to realize. Because they came into y'all lives with music does not mean they have to stick with music. In society, it's just so needy and selfish and think they got to have things their way. I don't like them little bums that think they, oh, she came here to do music. Like she said, she's been doing this since she was 15. I would think after all them years of being able to experience different parts of the world that you picked up some other type of interest outside of music and performing 24/7. Like shorty, at some point your knees gonna give out. You're not gonna have them knees all your life. So you need to change something. You ain't gonna have them vocals all your life. You're gonna have a moment where that bad boy just cracked. And it's like, all right, well, you can be up there. I can be
That's how Mariah is, Mariah Carey.
Oh God.
Like check 1, 2. Like, no, it's not the microphone. It's you. We've had enough of you. So there's that. In more upsetting news, the officer of Louisville who had hand in killing Breonna Taylor has the audacity to countersue the boyfriend for emotional distress and assault and battery. What? Excuse me, sir. You were the one who signed up for a line of duty where you could be killed at any possible moment, whether the person was right or wrong. You wrongfully barged into somebody's home and killed their significant other, and now you're talking about emotional distress. I hope the demons come and get you in your sleep. That's how I feel. I hope you never.
Does he not think that he didn't cause emotional distress to him? I mean, that's a pretty traumatic event for someone to kick down your door and then shoot at you and then kill your girlfriend in front of you. There's so many things. That's preposterous.
No, it's not a thing for you to be traumatized when somebody barges into your home for nothing, claiming that they had the rights to, show no evidence, just went full force. No, after that happens, you're supposed to sleep. You're supposed to be calm.
Act like it never happened.
Because it's whatever. You're not supposed to miss your loved one at all, because that's not somebody you've been sleeping next to for quite some time. That's not somebody you were used to seeing off to work and picking up and having dinner with. No, there is no way you could be sad by actually seeing them be shot to their death. No, absolutely not. You should not be emotionally distressed at all. But me on the other hand, I should be filled with emotional distress because he's a Black man and I fear my life. And, I can't close my eyes at night because his face is what I see and he's antagonizing me. Whatever bullcrap white people think of to make themselves feel better at night. I don't know. I hate people. And I saw somebody in the post when I saw it on Facebook had the audacity to say, well, I'm glad he's countersuing because he has a lot happening and we have to fight for our police officers. Blue Lives Matter. I'm like, here we go with this crap again. You are choosing to go to that academy for whatever little weeks that y'all go because y'all don't take this thing seriously at all. Y'all go for a couple weeks. and you're choosing to put on a uniform where you know you're going to be hated or loved. Most part is going to be hated, especially following the actions that you do out on the street or whatever. You chose that. I did not choose this. This, I don't care how much I wash, I'm still going to be black. It's going to be there. I did not choose this. But yet and still compassionate for blue lives. To hell with all of you blue lives people.
Oh, you know who he really can? Lil Wayne. I know y'all saw that picture. Him posing with Trump. Oh my
man,
God.
look,
I reach for that phone and snatch him by them two braids he got.
Right there. He can't even vote. So keep it moving. You can't even vote, sir. And he is not the politician that's going to do any kind of groundwork to make sure that you can. So
everybody is on a lot.
Anything he says, grain of salt.
Him, Ice Cube, it's just, I'm like, what are y'all doing right now? Like, exactly what are y'all doing?
What did Ice Cube say? I saw a bunch of comments on that, but I didn't see him. I only saw Wayne and Kanye.
Ice Cube was trying to work or talk to both politicians or both candidates to figure out what is the actual plan to help the Black community. And he reached out to Biden's people, and they said, okay, we'll meet with you after the fact. Like, if I'm elected, then we'll meet with you. Whereas Trump's people said, we'll meet with you now. And so apparently they had some kind of conversation to come up with the platinum plan. Who knows what's on this so-called platinum plan? All I know is that it's like 2 pages long. So that tells me not very much is getting done.
What a plan.
But Ice Cube has been very adamant that he's not supporting Trump. He just met with him to talk about whatever platinum plan. But
then they said Kamala Harris tried to have a Zoom meeting with him and something else. He just shut it down. He didn't even want to talk to her because now he doesn't want to be a part of a list of like famous faces or something like that. He doesn't want to be on that part. And I'm like, you're not helping. I'm like, if you say you're going for the Black community or something, it's best to try to hear out both sides. And the thing is, you just went with Trump's people because they talked to you first. Of course they're going to talk to you first and lie to you. Election is coming up. Like, election is here. So they're going to feed you whatever BS they feel like feeding you. Because like, oh, he didn't want to talk to you? Well, let's go ahead and try to dream up a plan and, we're going to let
whatever sounds good.
One ear and not the other, plain and simple. Versus, is it actually going to be a plan of action afterwards? No, it's not. Like you said, a two-page, everything that's going on with the Black community, 2-page. And everybody knows that, well, us that went to school, we BS when the teacher asked for 2 pages, we actually gave you 2 lines on that next page.
Right.
2 pages. So to me, that's what that plan is. Oh yeah, 2 pages worth. And 3 words, period, done.
Also, things didn't start just happening a few weeks before Election Day with the Black community. He's had 4 years to do something, and he hasn't done anything.
No.
However, I mean, you have a couple of days left, and then all of a sudden, oh yeah, let's meet. Let's come up with a plan.
You think they would have learned from Cassondra Michelle and Steve Harvey? You think them two trying to side with Trump would have been enough? Nobody's heard about Cassondra Michelle in quite some time. At least I haven't. And then I just...
That's why they don't follow up, Wayne. He can't even vote, so...
And it's crazy because, like, I know you guys don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're educated. We know this. But what I don't want is for other people to be like, oh, well, Wayne's supporting Trump. No. You know what I'm saying? And I would hope that people has their own mind to not just go along because that's what the celebrities are doing. Or that's what I love Wayne or I love Kanye or Ice Cube. Let me see what they, you know what I'm saying? That's what I don't want to happen.
Well, like I said, I think our first or second episode, at this point, you shouldn't still be straddling the fence. Yeah. I mean, you really shouldn't. There's enough information out there. Google, their websites, social media, like you have enough information to kind of know what kind of people are they. And if you're still on the fence, I do not know why. I don't understand.
That's their life. I already voted, so. I already
Well,
voted,
it's
so
ours
I knew
too.
what I was
It's
doing.
ours too. Just I'm gonna say the last thing and let Trey go on to the topic. But someone told me that they don't vote, and instead of me being like, "Well, why not?" I just was like, "Interesting." I was like, "Interesting. Why is that?" And he was like, "I don't know. I'm not really into politics." And I said, "I'm not into politics. However, there are certain things that are on the line that will affect me and affect my family and affect people that I work with every day." And so I brought up like the Roe versus Wade thing. You know, there's a possibility that women will no longer be able to get the services that they need to take care of themselves besides abortion. I mean, taking away Planned Parenthood, they do a lot of other things, testing and exams and all of that. So that might be gone, right? And then we had talked about some other things, and they were like, dang, I didn't realize that all of those things were happening. Well, you wouldn't. If you shut down and just say, well, I don't vote, I'm not into it, then you don't invest any time in trying to figure out, what are these people talking about? What are they planning to do? Both locally and obviously president, but
And that's really what it is. I mean, I was like that when I was younger because, you know, I couldn't vote. Like I'm 17, 18, there's nothing I could do at the time. But as I got older and got closer to it, I was like, a lot of this stuff does affect me. And that's really what it was with a lot of people. Oh, this don't affect me, so I don't have to worry about it. And this don't concern me. They're talking about religion and all this stuff. I'm like, it ties in with other stuff. So it does concern you.
Healthcare.
Exactly. Like,
Sorry.
as soon as Trump got elected, it was like people wasted no time. Anywhere I went, it had to be talked about, and I guess they wanted to see my reaction. And I listened to a lot of white people, and they was like, yeah, I voted for him, and now I want to see what he's going to do for healthcare because this is taking long, and I need to get this done. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, you signed up to die.
Literally.
So if whomever you believe in, whatever higher power, I hope you get it together with them because this is what you asked for. A lot of other people, same thing. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I got rid of Obamacare and now I can't get my chemotherapy. Well, Godspeed. Like that's like, and they look at me and I'm like, what do you want me to say? I know what I was doing. I know where this was going at. I know he said he wasn't gonna keep none of this stuff. And it was because of Obamacare why people got everything they got. Just like Obama said, he's like, we left a handbook about COVID and they pretty much use it as a doorstop. So you knew a long time ago about COVID and you just decided to ignore it. And now it's like, well, we're gonna try to nip this in the bud. No, you're not. You gave all our materials away to other people. And now you're talking about you want help. No. I'm good.
So today's topic is going to be about stress and anxiety. I wanted to talk about this because I feel like it's definitely necessary to talk about because as millennials, we get stressed out and our anxiety is triggered for multiple reasons or whatever. It could be work, it could be a relationship, it could be, you know, friendship or whatever the case may be. And this is going to go a little bit into my personal life because I've had a very stressful couple of weeks, but only with work. So just a little bit about what I do. I've said it briefly, but this is like the first time probably like going to be explaining it in depth. So anyway, if you guys don't know already, I am a print solutions manager for a print shop here in Atlanta. And with my position, it's basically customer service, sales, graphic design, consulting, and of course, some clerical work, all combined into one position. So the reason why it's been kind of like really stressful as of lately, outside of it being a pandemic, is that, you know, the customer service side of it I guess it's just a lot to take in with people's personalities, people wanting a certain service that can't be provided right now, again, because of a pandemic. And, you know, and I'm sure you guys, if you ever been in a customer service experience, in their mind, the customer is always right. And to an extent that is true, but at the end of the day, policies still have to be abided by. And if we gotta like, you know, push to go outside for you, then we got to push it up for everybody else. But all that to say, it's just been really kind of stressful for me personally because it's so many fires I've had to put out with customer issues and also dealing with my upper management and being in the middle of that. It's a lot to take in on a daily basis. So these three can tell you, I've not been responding lately. Like I haven't been like following up or checking in as much. And now it's just kind of like, yeah, Trey is tired as fuck. So, but yeah, so again, I wanted to kind of like, share this with you guys because like, it's very important to talk about because all of us as young Black millennials are, going through something, again, whether that be work or our anxiety gets triggered on a daily basis. So to kind of put like a textbook definition to it, it's a feeling of worry, nervousness, or unease, typically about a particular event or something with an uncertain outcome. And anxiety can be in normal stressful situations, such as public speaking, or even as simple as taking a test. It is only an indicator of underlying issues when feelings become excessive, all-consuming, and interfere with your daily living. And with me personally, it's definitely been happening for me a lot lately because, and of course, during my daily living because I go to work every day, well, every week. So occasional anxiety is an expected part of life, but anxiety disorders involve more than temporary worry or fear. For a person with an anxiety disorder, the anxiety does not go away and could get worse over time if not controlled or self-treated. The symptoms can interfere with daily activities such as job performance, schoolwork, and relationships. And I also listed some common symptoms that we're going to talk about. I definitely want to get everyone to, well, not opinion, but experience dealing with it and kind of see what triggers you guys. So the common symptoms could be as simple as feeling restless or on edge, also being easily fatigued, having difficulty with concentrating or mind going blank, being easily irritable, having muscle tensions, difficulty controlling feelings of worry, and also having sleep problems or difficult with sleeping. So just a little bit for me, I've low-key kind of had all of this. And so like me personally, even with going to the gym after work, sometimes I'm just like, I can't. Like, I'm just so dang on long-winded and tired from work that I can't even go to the gym. And that is a problem for me because going to the gym, especially during this time of the pandemic, it really was a safe space for me and a way for me to kind of like get out of what was kind of happening to me during the pandemic. So yeah, so all that being said, if stressful situations leads to anxiety to where it is actually causing bodily harm, that's definitely a problem. And that's why I wanted to kind of like have this conversation and be transparent with you guys, is because, with stress situations happening every day for everyone, it's definitely good to talk about it with somebody, whether it be a therapist or a friend. In my case, I have friends who are therapists. So I definitely appreciate that now. But anyway, moving forward to the questions, I want to know from you guys, have you ever experienced any of the common symptoms that I just mentioned? If you need me to read through it again, I can. So I'll start with Megan. LadiiNova.
Say the symptoms one more time.
Yeah, so it's feeling restless or on edge, being easily fatigued or easily tired, having difficulty concentrating, being easily irritated, having muscle tension, difficulty controlling your feelings of worry, or sleep problems and sleep problems.
So irritated and tired. As of lately, I can get up and know that I have stuff to do and try to get it done. And I'll probably do, out of the 7 things I'll probably do 1. And right after that, I'm just like, I want to lay down. And I don't even really have I have no knowledge as to why I get so tired quick when that's never been me. Irritated. I think I'm always just irritated, but literally the smallest of things. So like I told y'all back in college, I believe was my senior year, I was getting up, getting ready for class, and it was late class. And I was just trying to find something to put on, and I just lost it. Like I don't even know really what it was, like just trying to find a shirt to go to class, and I just was like, I can't do this. and I don't even know what this was. I was like, I just cannot do this. This is too much. And I just broke. And I just stayed in, called a friend, person I was talking to at the time. They tried to help me. And I just was like, I really don't know how to explain the feelings because it literally comes out of nowhere.
No. Miss Cassondra, what have you experienced any of the common symptoms?
The most I get is irritability and fatigue, and then difficulty concentrating. I think depending on like what triggers my anxiety, like I can't stop thinking about it, you know? So then it's like I can't focus on what I'm doing. I'm focusing on, you know, what I'm upset about, and then I get irritable and then cranky.
Oh, listen. Dashia D.
Yes. The one thing I was going to add to what you said earlier was that the best of my ability, I have not been in school since last year.
Yeah.
So in the brain, you know, you have certain parts that are responsible for different things: emotional, brain, logical, and reasoning, things like that. So, examples that they give kids a lot of times. So, like if you're hiking, right, and you encounter a bear, some people are going to run. That's flight. Some people might try to fight, not me. And right, and then some people freeze. So those are like fight, flight, freeze, right? Those are your automatic responses that you don't have to think about. Your brain just does it for you because you're going survival mode. So when you're excessively anxious, your brain does the same thing. It goes into survival mode. Therefore, it's pumping stress hormones to your brain. So like adrenaline, that's why your heart starts speeding up. You might get hot or things like that, or you feel like you're going to pass out. Just to give more clarity as to why that happens to people physically, if that makes any sense.
It does.
Or you feel on edge because you become more aware. I forgot the name of that, like epinephrine or something like that. Mm-hmm. It's adrenaline, epinephrine, and cortisol or something like that. But that's why all of those things just start to happen. But as far as me feeling those symptoms, most definitely. I would definitely say it's changed over time. When I was younger, it was more so like my stomach hurting and just feeling like nauseous, things like that. This past year, it's been headaches, feeling tired, feeling irritable, my heart racing, that kind of thing. So.
Yeah, and like I said before I asked everybody, I've experienced every single one of these, and like as of this year, more common for me right now has definitely been the muscle tension and difficulty sleeping. So yeah, and it's like I tell you guys, I go to the gym a lot, like just about every day, and so like but I personally don't think it has nothing to do with the gym, but but at the end of the day, I'm not a doctor, so. But and I will put it out there that this episode is not about ain't none of us that need no certified doctor. Well, maybe Dashia, doctors, but this is really just to kind of discuss the reality of what's actually going on with our Black people, with us. So, but yeah, moving forward, the next question I have for you guys is, what do you think triggers your anxiety? Like I said before, it could be as simple as work or simply driving in a big city. Like some people say driving in Atlanta gives them anxiety. So what gives you, what triggers your anxiety? I'll start with Cassondra.
So quick story, and I told y'all this. Trey already knows. I usually, if I get anxiety, it's like a couple of minutes and then it's fine. Like I do some breathing. I drove through Atlanta and had a whole anxiety attack. Over, and I said, this is not going to work. It was too many roads, too many highways. I was freaking out. I was almost in tears. I said, Chad, I cannot do this. And not enough breathing in the world helped. And I helped eventually, but you know, so this coming from a slow Charleston girl who, you know, Atlanta's much faster than Charleston. Y'all like the Atlanta life? Have fun. It wasn't for me. I'll visit any day. But anyway, on a daily basis, what really triggers me is like traffic in the mornings, and not just being in traffic, but if like, okay, I feel like I'm going to be late, then my heart starts racing. I'm like, okay, well, I can't be late. I'm going to get in trouble. You know, so I start thinking about a whole bunch of other things. That, and then everybody knows I work with kids. and I love my job, I do, but if I have a kid that's like upset and crying and I can't figure out what's going on, I do get anxiety, you know, because it's like, okay, I'm holding you, I fed you, I changed you, are you sick, or do you need to be held? You know, they're screaming and crying and they won't stop, and then it's like, oh my gosh. And I do try to breathe and address the situation calmly, because it's like they're frazzled, I'm frazzled, but I can't show them that I'm frazzled, you know. So I do have to like debrief sometime and like, you know.
It seems, I could be wrong, but what I'm hearing you say, it sounds like a lot of it boils down to you being afraid that you're not going to perform at your best ability.
I think that's what it is. Like, I freak out when I feel like I can't do it, even on exams. Like, it's like Dashia said, like, I think I was just so scared that I couldn't, you know, be good at it. So I freaked out.
Think about it. You said if you're in traffic, you're afraid you're going to be late, get in trouble. If a baby's crying and you've done everything in your power to calm them down and they don't, then you're like, oh no, I did something wrong, and then the test. So all of those are related to me. But
come on, Miss Social Worker. See, that's why she licensed to get paid the big bucks, y'all.
That's why I said she's probably the only one that's certified. So, Cassondra, I really love that answer, because that's legit me. I'm glad Dashia was able to like clarify that, because that's definitely what I'm currently going through right now. And it's like with me, I know I was talking about me a lot, but I'm gonna move on. Trust me, y'all. But anyway, so
we like it. It's okay.
Okay, cool. So yeah, so definitely Cassandra's feeling is definitely the same way I'm feeling too, because like her, except I'm dealing with adults who get pissed off if it's like one slightly thing going wrong with their design, with their print, or whatever the case is. I'm the one that has to rectify the situation. Now, by this moment, this customer is already frazzled, already pissed off, and I have to figure out how to fix that situation right then and there. And then it's definitely been horrible, because you have people who can't control their anger and lash out, and imagine going through that every day, every hour. That's a lot of personalities to deal with outside of customers, also management team too, because like Cassandra said, maybe I'm questioning my abilities to make the perfect decision, but also not get in trouble by my manager, you know? So yeah, that's a lot. So anyway, Dashia, what triggers your anxiety?
So my biggest trigger would be transitions.
Okay.
So I've had a lot of transitions within this 1 year. So my anxiety has been at an all-time high. So when I say transitions, I mean, I moved from South Carolina to Tennessee. Another transition, I went from, also this is my first time living on my own and paying major bills, things like that, but also having my first job out of school, then quitting that job, getting a new job during a pandemic. So going from working at home to now working in schools, and not really knowing, can I get sick? Do I need to sanitize each child that comes to meet me? Yeah. Having a relationship end, that's a transition. Having a loved one who I've been around all of my life pass away, so it's just been a lot of transitions and changes and things like that, which can trigger all of the symptoms that I said earlier. But also when people argue and it's very intense, that can cause me to feel very on edge. And I guess mine kind of comes down to feeling like I'm not in control of whatever the situation is. So that for me is like, oh, okay, that's my body telling me, okay, girl, you need to, something needs to change. You need to check in with yourself. So.
All right. LadiiNova, what triggers you?
Crazy enough, I went through everything Dashia said and Cassondra, like the things that I thought would cause me anxiety because I thought about it beforehand. It didn't. So like driving to Atlanta, I thought that would have been a big thing, and it wasn't. I mean, I just got in the car and drove. That was it. Transitioning when I lived by myself, and like Dashia, that was my first time paying major bills, having to understand rent and all the other stuff. I thought that would have given me anxiety. It didn't. Mine literally comes from out of nowhere, and it's things that I never thought would give me anxiety. like a day in my life. Conversations that I've had before with you all or my significant other, I could literally be sitting in my room, probably watching a show, and a scenario will come up, and then all of a sudden, my mind just goes crazy. And I'm like, well, I've never thought about this before. I don't know why I'm thinking about it now. And I would think that maybe listening to music or something would help me, or reading. But for hours and hours, my mind would be racing on that one thing. I could go to sleep and wake up and it'll be still on that same thing. And I have no idea why it's like that. And it's like, I've never been concerned with this matter ever a day in my life. And now out of nowhere, it's just repeating over and over. And there's nothing that I can do about it.
So are you saying that you have not figured out what the triggers are or trigger is? I just wanted you to be very careful about saying it's out of your control or you can't control it, because that's not true. But I think a part of you being able to manage it would be trying to figure out what happens right before my mind races.
That's the thing. I really don't know. I could.
Well, you said you watched the show and then a scenario happened and then your mind started going.
I mean, that was one instance, but other times I could legit just be like, I've seen so many shows so many times, so I know it's gonna happen. So even like if I'm watching Living Single, I know that show inside and out. There's nothing on there to my conscious mind that would have been a thing. Not really. And then I can be on the phone having a conversation. All of a sudden, we both get quiet, and then boom. And sometimes it's not even anything that I watched or anything. It literally comes from out of nowhere, and I don't know why.
Yeah, I'm just saying when those times happen, that'll give you an opportunity to like grab your phone or something and write down maybe what you're thinking, because all of that stuff is information for you to try to determine, oh, I might not know all of them, but this one thing, my mind, I can't keep my mind off of it. Because that's, you said if you listen to music, it doesn't do anything, but if you don't know what the trigger is, then how could you get on top of it to manage it? I mean, when I work with kids, they have these little emotional thermometers, and I kind of explain it like, if you were taking your temperature and you had a fever of 102, you're going to go to the doctor and get medication. Same thing with your emotions. Whatever your breaking point is, whatever your 102 is of your emotions, you have to figure that out and figure out what are the things that lead up to this point so I can do said thing to bring myself down. If that
I
makes
will
sense.
try that tip. I'm not 100% of the work, but
you won't know until you try, right?
Yeah. So before I move on to the last question, I want to point out that I'm currently watching Girlfriends on Netflix, and and it was the episode where Joan finally decided to quit her job. Not to say I'm trying to quit my job, but
So you trying to tell us something?
No, not saying I'm trying to quit my job, but it was something in the episode where she was talking about how when she first decided to become a lawyer, she was really happy. She wanted to change the world. She wanted to, do so much to help people like her. And then now, of course, like now she just feels like an outsider. And, she didn't make senior partner and, all that stuff. And she just felt She just felt stuck in her position. That's how I'm feeling. So yeah, it's like, and again, going back to Cassondra's point about not feeling like you're doing your best at your job, that continues to happen a lot more for me lately. So where I'm not like, really focused on doing graphics or actually being as creative as I want to be, I hope that makes sense. So yeah, it's just points where I'm like, I feel stuck in the position, because at the end of the day, I have to be an adult. I got to take care of my business, got to pay these bills and all of that. But at the end of the day, it's to a point where you start to question your happiness at this job. So yeah.
And you can't do your job if you can't take care of you.
Exactly. So yeah, that's why I'm like extremely transparent with us right now. So I'm really loving this conversation. So the last question I have, well, y'all kind of answered a little bit, but if you haven't, how do you control your anxiety when triggered? So I will start with Dashia D.
So different things help for me to manage. So I started doing a lot of mindfulness. And if you don't know what mindfulness is, all it is it gives you an opportunity to kind of be in the moment and deep breathing, grounding yourself. So I use an app called Insight Timer. Headspace is a popular one, but I prefer Insight Timer. They have different people on there, and sometimes they'll do like guided meditations. So I might do that in the morning, or I might do it at night to fall asleep to. That I'm in therapy. I have a therapist, and that helps to kind of process things. The meditation or the mindfulness helps to ground myself. So like the heart palpitations, things like that, that helps with that. But the therapy helps to just process it out loud. And then the gym helps me, I think, if I'm feeling on edge, to kind of get out that nervous energy. And then I recently tried or started to take anti-anxiety medication, which is helpful in maintaining my, I don't know the best way to put it, so that I don't feel as on edge all the time. Yeah. And I can take it as needed. It doesn't have to be something that I do every day. But if it's a transitional period, which is, then I can do that.
Okay. Good. LadiiNova.
So like I said, music is usually one. I have an app on my phone. It's color by number, and I have been going crazy on that over here, coloring Disney photos and whatnot. And I guess going to sleep. The ones that I used to have to try to get away from that, in which they would be proud, was drinking, which was a horrible one. It was not a good idea. I thought just having a beer or a Seagram's, Slinky, I understand too, that
Slinky stressed out too, man. This is
she's had enough. She has had enough, because I got this one down here, got me rubbing her ear because she just had enough of whatever. Like, she had a long day. But yeah, old me thought that drinking would help, like a Seagram's to calm down, or wine or something. But now it's just music, and there goes my mama phone. Here goes my anxiety going right on up.
Triggered. Triggered right there. I think we just had a breakthrough. We just had a breakthrough. Like what they say in therapy, Dashia. Oh boy.
Asked for silence, and her body is in her room and her phone out here making the most of noise. And she ain't moved out that room not once to come and get this phone. But yeah, music and the coloring and going to sleep. I think sleep now, because before, when I lived by myself, I did not sleep. Like, being by myself, I felt like I still had to do a whole lot more to get myself in a better position. So I did not know what it was to rest. So now I don't have anything to do. I have no choice but to sleep. Sometimes I try to fight it. I have no idea why, as if I have anything else to do. So I just try to take that time to get as much needed rest as I can. So maybe the next day or the next time I get up, things will be better.
Right, that's a good thing that you're no longer using alcohol to cope with anxiety, because it's a temporary fix.
I might say to cope with no.
Right.
To drink, yes.
Yeah.
It tastes good. It just tastes good.
Man, nice little Cabernet Sauvignon.
My mama loved that's her favorite.
Never had it. That's not to say it.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Cassondra, how do you control your anxiety?
So it's in that moment, I just breathe. And I know it sounds crazy, but like if there's so much going on, or, it just stop and like take deep breaths, like, make sure I can, like Dashia said, regulate my heart rate so that I'm not sweating and my heart's not beating fast and I'm not, about to pass out or anything. But if I still feel like that, if I'm at home, then like LadiiNova said, I'll listen to music, or I'll grab my karaoke machine and put on a concert. And usually after that, I always feel better. So.
Awesome. Oh, I love that. So for me, it's a few things. I'm actually glad Desha mentioned that app because I've been trying to meditate, but I don't know how to do it at all. So I need like a coach or like Desha said, a guided meditation process. So I'm definitely going to look into that app. Send that to me, by the way. And so yeah, but other than that, of course, like I said before, many times I go to the gym. It helps a lot. For me, I go daily, like during the weekend, sometimes on the weekends too, like in the morning. But in that moment, like Cassondra said, I just have to step away from my desk, actually go outside and just breathe, drink some water.
Water is a good one.
Yes, definitely drink some water and just I just tell everybody I need 10 minutes. It's because in my position, it's so fast paced. I'm like 1 second at my desk, then gotta go check on a job, and then gotta get this approved, gotta call this vendor, and I'm just like, listen, I need a minute, well, 10 minutes, excuse me, to myself. So yeah, that's me. And then also, y'all know I love me some music. So like at my desk, I'll like have a YouTube of like a chill hop. I don't know if y'all have heard of that kind of like genre or whatever, but
like Lynn Trip Hop.
It's legit, and this is gonna sound super weird, but like it's legit gentle elevator music.
That's not weird.
Oh.
Okay, so like legit playing that all day just to kind of keep my stress level down, even when a customer is like piss the f off about their stuff not being right, and I'm just like, okay, so did you respond to the email? Did you read the email before you come in here yelling at everybody? So,
You've been that person I hate talking to, and I'm upset. And you're over there, excuse me, sir, but I need for you to lower your octaves so I can help you find your. What is your problem? I understand you can't log into your account right now, but I'm trying to help you.
And that's legit how I've been at my job now. I'm just so emotionally detached that I legit sound just like that. Like how LadiiNova is an example. I'm like, well, did you read the email? Did you look at our website to see what we offered first? Did you use any helpful resources before calling me? Before we got to this point?
As long as you don't turn into Tony Talks.
Listen, because
ma'am, we don't have that.
We don't have that here.
I'm going on my lunch break in 5, 4, 3. I'm done.
Go ahead.
But yeah, go ahead, Desha. Definitely.
I was gonna say, it's one of the biggest things that I learned this year. I've always dealt with anxiety all of my life. But one of the biggest things I've learned is to ask for what you need. Because people don't know what you struggle with. They don't know what to say, what not to say, how to help you. And I just transitioned to a new job as a middle school therapist. And much like all of y'all had said, I can be very hard on myself, especially career-wise. Just in general, I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. And my supervisor would text me and be like, okay, see as many kids as you possibly can. Now let me back up. At the end of every month, we're supposed to have at least 100 hours of productivity, meaning 100 hours of meeting with children and families by the end of that month. And so every day she was like, see as many kids as you can, see as many kids as you can. Now, for those of you who have gone to school, you know that you're only in school for 8 hours, and the majority of those hours are spent in core classes. You got teachers on the phone like, can you see him at the end of my class? Because they want to send them during like a special area. And I'm like, I have to see as many kids as I possibly can. But anyway, every time she would text me that, it caused me to be more and more and more anxious. It's already a new job. I've never had to deal with 2 separate offices. I have 30 plus children on my caseload. Like, you got to give me time to adjust. So I finally just said, hey, I don't think your intention is to cause me to be anxious. I am very, I said, I'm already about my stuff. Like, I know I'm on top of things. I kind of don't need a reminder from you to see as many kids as I possibly can. I already know that. I didn't say it like this, but, you know, So if you're telling me that, it's causing me to be anxious. Therefore, I'm not going to be able to serve the clients the way that you want me to, because I'm not going to be functioning at 100%. And so me telling her that, she's like, oh, thank you for letting me know that, because you are new to me, I'm new to you. And ever since then, she has stopped. She checks in with me, and it's a much better relationship, which helps me to do my job. So without being as anxious. So ask for what you need.
I like that.
Me saying that.
I like that a lot, because that's a very similar situation with me and my boss. he's an older Black man, basically me at like 55, basically. But anyways, so yeah, like Dashia mentioned, he will text me. Honestly, anytime I got a text from that man, I'm already on edge, because it's like, well, Trey, we need to do this. Make sure you do that. Remind your team to do this. And I'm like, oh my God, buddy. And it's like Dashia said, it triggers my anxiety, because it's like, now I feel like what I've been doing so far isn't good enough to where you feel like you have to continuously tell me to do other processes or other operations or other duties or try different avenues to get the job done. And I'm like, dang, what are you trying to tell me? Like, what are you trying to say? but no, and I actually recently he called me after we had like a long meeting with all the managers, and he called me when I literally just walked in the house to check in with me, and that was the first time he had ever done that. And so it felt good, because he was like, yeah, Trey, I just wanted to check in on you, make sure you didn't have any feedback from today's meeting, or just to check in with you. I've seen you've been kind of like, a lot stressed out lately, so I just wanted to make sure you're okay and let you know that I'm here to help you. And I'm like, mind you, we didn't even have a conversation before. So it was like he's seeing my behavior. He reached out. So yeah, I thought that was very helpful, because he's definitely been one of my triggers. So the conversation really, it went well, and I'm glad that we had that. So yeah, you about to say something, Dashia?
Also, sorry, I don't want to take over, but
no, it's fine.
something I do.
No,
I was going to say, also normalizing these kind of conversations. I think a lot of times people feel like abnormal, in a sense, if they have like physical symptoms from anxiety, because everyone gets nervous and gets butterflies. But I think for those of us who we have headaches, we're stressed out, our stomach hurts, whatever, we're like, oh no, this is weird, I'm the only person. But then when you have conversations like these, you're like, oh, I'm not alone. And these are some things that I could possibly try that would be helpful for me. Because one thing I didn't know until maybe a few weeks ago is that both of my grandmothers apparently take anti-anxiety medication. I didn't know that my entire life. So my whole life, I was like, well, this is going to kind of happen.
right.
I was kind of set up in a way.
Yeah.
I was probably going to have anxiety. No one said this. So I just felt like, oh, it's just me. I just need to get it together. So please have the conversations with your friends and family so that they don't feel alone, and also they can figure out healthy tools to help manage whatever, if it's anxiety, depression, whatever, the thing is. I mean, 1 in 5 people have a diagnosable mental health disorder.
Yeah.
So
I'd say make sure you pick those people wisely. If you know people like you say you do, or feel you do, you would know that going to some people and trying to have this conversation, it'll be like a brush off and it's not that serious, and which will make it worse. That's why, for me, I choose wisely who I speak to about it and how far into depth I go. Yeah, you got family, but family is not always a great help. Is it their fault? Like they said, no, because she just found out about her grandmothers. You have people that have never known stuff, and they wait until you get to this point, like, oh yeah, well, such and such had this some years ago, and it's like, I'm pretty sure when people ask us for a family history,
exactly,
that's including, like, that's a thing when family history is missing, not just you and daddy, everyone. So it's important. But I have a song that would help us.
Oh.
Frozen.
Shine bright, shine far, don't be shy, be a star. Where you live, where you are, be a star. If you don't know that, that is from Life Size with Tyra Banks and Lindsay Lohan. Because Steve's great.
Oh man.
Dress her up from her head to her toes.
And yet they judged me when I started singing SpongeBob.
Oh no.
Oh my God. So yes, literally for everything that you and Daisha said is the reason why I wanted to have this episode to highlight how bad anxiety can build up for a lot of people who are stressed out at work or just stressed out with whatever is going on. Go ahead, Daisha.
One more thing, sorry. For those parents who have kids, when you're dropping them off in the morning to school and they say that their stomach is hurting, not all kids are lying about that. Some kids have anxiety. It might be social anxiety, whatever that might be. Please don't yell at your kids. Please don't tell them, boy, get out my car. Don't say all of that, right? So when they get home, ask them about it. Like, hey, I notice every time I drop you off to school, you say your stomach hurts. What's going on? That opens communication, and then they can let you know, and then maybe they can start grounding themselves so that when they become our age, they're not feeling lost, like, what is happening?
Please do not give them typical answers either. Well, you should have went to bed early. Like, what does that mean? I don't even know.
Yeah.
Or threaten them, I'm going to make your mouth hurt in a minute if you don't get out this car.
And I was just about to say, like, just be respectful, because it's like, you know, like, especially with us most of us growing up is like, when we say we tired, well, you don't know what tired is.
Oh my gosh. Oh, and I'm glad you said it. That was the biggest thing we all heard. Or if you do say I'm stressed out, you don't know what stress is because you ain't never paid no bill. Kids have stress, and I'm glad y'all brought that up. Kids have stress. Kids have anxiety. It might look different. Like they should say, it might be social anxiety. For us, it's a new job, but for them, it could be going to school, changing classes. You know what I'm saying?
Bullying.
Like, that's a big deal. Bullying, yeah. So
yeah.
So I don't think she would have an issue with me saying this, but that was like my munchkin with the pandemic happening, and she had transitioned to online schooling.
Mm-hmm.
When I said I witnessed how she went from bubbly, happy going to school and having to do online, and it just like, I cannot do this. And they just had to have a day, and she was like, okay, we can. And like, it's like the teachers didn't understand it, because it went from being like, okay, 5 assignments a day, and you wake up the next morning, now you got 20, and now all this stuff being by the end of the week, and it's 75 assignments, and it's like, she got so stressed and started questioning herself, like, am I dumb? Why can't I get this? This is so much. And I'm like, whoa. Yeah. Okay, so we're just gonna have to pause this, because I have never heard her speak like this ever a day since I met her, and that's not cool. But like you said, people think that their kids don't go through stuff. I went through that in college. I'm like, yeah, I'm just tired. I had this. You ain't doing that but going to parties. I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, I actually have exams. I actually have to study. I'm actually a part of stuff. Like, this is a lot, and trying to do schoolwork. When you try to tack on a house note, listen here, that's not my problem, because you and your marriage didn't get it together and y'all can't figure out bills. Okay? That's not my problem.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it just kind of comes down to, with each generation, hopefully we're becoming better at normalizing these conversations, using proper tools to help ourselves. Because, I mean, look at it. Like I said earlier, this is a biological thing. So someone who doesn't check it, if you have long-term anxiety, you have a lot of people on high blood pressure meds, and a lot of people who have an aneurysm and strokes and things like that. That doesn't just happen overnight. That doesn't happen out of the blue or nowhere. If you don't check it with yourself and your body, things like that will happen. So be different.
I want to take with yourself.
No,
no, it's okay.
Yeah. The last thing I was gonna, damn, I done lost my train of thought. No. But yes, so let's normalize having these conversations, whether it's with your parents, your friends, going to therapy. Let's normalize that, so that way further issues don't build up, mental health and stuff like that. Let's just normalize having a great, I guess, mental health, however you say it. Anyway, so yeah.
Join us every Monday.
Like,
comment,
subscribe, and gas us all the way up.
Bye.